Now to an update on a story that we first told you about yesterday at 6. Nassau County Police have identified the victim in a 1982 cold case. And Jennifer McLogan has more now on the cutting-edge technology that made it possible.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode Exploring the Unsolved with Melissa, where we take a closer look at the unsolved true crime cases and mysteries that refuse to give us answers as we continue to search for the truth. Our story begins on May 17th, 1980, a day that began like no other in Hollis, Queens. For 15-year-old Susan Mann, it marked the last time she was seen alive. A simple errand to retrieve her sister's stolen pocketbook will lead to her disappearance.
Subscribe.
Susan Mann was a bright, ambitious teenager known for her academic excellence and close-knit family ties. On that fateful day, she left home on a bicycle, determined to retrieve her sister's stolen pocketbook from a schoolyard bully. After that, she was never seen again.
She was always helping others, always there for her family, whether it was tying a kid's shoe, running groceries over to Miss Alma, or just showing up when you needed a hug. That was just who she was. It just doesn't make sense.
And then, in this quiet moment in Hollis, Queens, when she ran without a trace on that May 17, 1980, her disappearance would mark a decades-long mystery that would leave her family and friends in the community searching for answers. And over 40 years later, this, unfortunately, case remains unsolved. But will it be solved? Let's take a closer look. She was last seen entering a Cadillac 7 with a man in his early 20s. Despite extensive searches and media coverage, Susan was never seen alive again.
We all thought she'd come back. We never imagined something like this could happen.
According to one childhood friend, she was always helping others, always there for her family. It just doesn't make sense. Despite searches and public appeal, Susan vanished without a trace. We see this again and again. Perfect neighborhood, everybody knew one another. Friends, neighbors were considered part of your family. And then one day it's all stolen, making them realize, despite all the happy smiles, there hid a dark underbelly. And that was shown on that day in Queens, when childhood was stolen. 2 years later, on November 4th, 1982, a decomposed body was discovered in a dumpster behind the Cancer Glasswork in Freeport, Long Island. The victim was a teenage girl dubbed a Jane Doe. As we all know, Jane Does or John Does are basically unidentified people due to her unidentified status. According to one detective,
when we found her, we had no idea who she was. The condition of the body made identification extremely challenging.
The remains were buried as a Jane Doe at Hollywood Cemetery. Over the years, investigators tended to match the body to missing persons report, but all ever proved fertile. And of course, people did wonder, could this be the body of Susan Mann? At the time, investigators had few leads, but at that point, no clear connection was made to the Jane Doe to her. Then, in 2023, less than 2 years ago, advancements in DNA technology offered a glimmer of hope. The body was exhumed and DNA samples were sent to an FBI investigation genealogy program. Using familiar DNA, we were able to trace her lineage to make a match. And despite no connection back then, on September 24th, 2025, the remains were identified as Susan Mann. Breakthrough brought both relief and renewed sorrow for her family. According to one of her siblings,
Finally, we have her name. But the pain of not knowing for so long is indescribable.
For many families, this is the way of opening a new chapter into their lives. Yes, they have the body, but now the investigation takes another turn. Police are no longer investigating a missing person. They're now investigating a homicide. For a family, the new chapter means we have her, now we gotta search for justice. What really happened on that May in 1982. And for the family, it also raised more questions than answers. As why did it take so long to make the identifying match? Questions that hopefully we will now get into with the investigation. With the identification came renewed efforts to solve the case. Investigators believe that Susan's body may have been moved from another grave site to the dumpster, possibly due to a nearby construction activities, meaning witnesses who would have saw him with the body. According to investigator Derek Kapp,
we're looking into construction sites in the area between 1981 and 1982. Any information could be crucial.
Despite the passage of time, the case remains open. Authorities are urging anyone with information to come forward. Now, if you do have information, Crime Stoppers will have information listed for you in front of you for you to contact anyone. But Crime Stoppers is offering a $25,000 reward for information leading to an arrest. Well, and now for the family's journey. While the identification of Susan's body brought some closure, her family's journey is far from over. The pain of her loss was compounded by years of uncertainty and left lasting scars. According to one family member,
We never gave up hope, but the years without
where is she? Did she run away? Did she meet someone? Is she being held captive somewhere against her will? Now, with her name restored, the family seeks justice and peace, and hoping that the truth will finally emerge about what really happened to her. As for her family specifically, the Susan family has experienced a complex of emotions following her identification. While they were relieved to have answers, the pain of losing Susan remains. Sadly, her parents would pass away without knowing what happened to their daughter. Now, her siblings, especially the sister who she tried to help that day, are left to cope with a long-awaited resolution. Who killed her, and what really happened that day. The community of Hollands, Queens, and the surrounding areas have been to be affected by Susan's disappearance. As we all we know them all well. You know these stories all too well. Neighbors and friends recall the tight-knit community and collective grief following her vanishing. Many have come forward with information. The cooperation has been invaluable in ongoing investigation. With many of them now coming forward with information or possible leads, we don't know why they would have held this for so long. But it's good now. But it makes you wonder, if someone's told something back then, will Susan Mann still be alive? Perhaps we'll never know. But remember, just how close the community is, close guarded are also its secrets. Susan Mann's case is a stark reminder of the thousands of individuals who go missing every year. While her stories have found some measure of resolution, others remain unsolved. According to one missing persons advocate, every case is a tragedy. Every family deserves answers. As technology advances, so does the hope that more mysteries will be solved, and more families will find closure they desperately seek. And we will leave you with this. There are no shortage of suspects in this case. While no suspects have been publicly identified, investigators are focusing on individuals who may have been in Freeport area between 1980 and 1982. The man seen with Susan before her disappearance remains a person of interest. Authorities are urging anyone with information about him or any potential suspects to come forward. As of right now, theories about who I think killed her remain far in between, and so not much. I believe Susan was the type of girl who probably would not leave with a stranger. I think she was smarter than that. I think she was killed by someone she knew. It could have been the bully that took her sister's pocket. It could have been anything else. Either way, so I think her trust may have been taken advantage upon, and someone she knew took advantage of that. She thought she could trust somebody, and ultimately that trust was broken in the unimaginable way, and including with new hope. The use of advanced DNA testing and investigative genealogy has been crucial in identifying Susan Murray. Experts and forensics discuss how these technologies have realized cold case investigations and the challenges they present. The finding have provided new leads, but to highlight the complexities of solving cases that remain unsolved for decades. People say if DNA found her identification, DNA can be used to find her killer. The media coverage played a significant role in keeping Susan's case in the public eye. From local news outlets to national broadcasts, the story of the missing teenager resonated with many. Journalists and reporters reflect on the evolution of the case coverage and the ethical considerations involved in reporting such a sensitive topic. As the investigation continues, the hope that the justice will be served for Susan Mann. Authorities are committed to uncovering the truth and bring closer to her family. The case serves as a reminder of importance in persevering and seeking justice and the role of technology solving today's crimes. But there's still many unanswered questions that still remain unknown. More importantly, we don't know how Susan Mann died. We don't know the exact cause of death. We don't know that when the James body was found, was it evidence of sexual assault or rape. We don't know if there's any other viable evidence of any evidence that was found at the crime scene, whether that be male DNA, bodily fluids. We don't know. We don't know who found her body. We don't know the circumstances surrounding specifically what led to the body being found. Why wasn't identification made back then? Very often it could have been this was the 80s. DNA technology was starting to come around during this time, and it's not like we have it readily available today. And even then, it takes years, for weeks even, for DNA to be processed perfectly, or to make sure they get the exact identification match. Not only do we not know why, we don't know what the state her body was in. If she was in a state, well, why couldn't she be found right away? But something done to her teeth or fingerprints to prevent dental records or fingers to be used. There's a lot of unanswered questions we don't have. Most likely, these details are being remain hidden for the investigation, but many people are urging authorities to come forward with the cause of death to make sure it's possible that a body can be found. Cause of death. So perhaps if the killer did strike before or after, a link could be made. If you have any information about Susan Mann's case, contact the Nassau County Crime Stoppers at 1-800-244-TIPS. Once again, you can remain anonymous. The story of Susan Mann's tragedy, resilience, and hope, with the pain of her loss remains, and the identification of her body has brought her family one step closer to understanding what happened. As investigators progress, the hope that justice preserved, Susan's memory will be honored. Now, we were keeping you one note in mind. This script was based on the information came out in fall of this year in 2025. Details may evolve as investigation continues. If there is an update to this case, we will make another video or do a pinned comment down below to make sure you are fully aware of what happened. But thank you for turning into this week's case. If you like what you saw, to subscribe, leave a comment down below. And until next time, stay safe. Remember, justice is long, but the truth will always reveal itself.